Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, and his immaculate family. Dear brothers and sisters all around the world, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to yet another edition from series of Quran and Today's Life. As you might have already been following this series of programs, we are trying to catch some informative points and in fact beneficiary ones, while practical points from the teachings of Quran. In these various sessions, we started discussion concerning the story of the prophets from the Quranic perspective. Prophet Adam and his wife Eve was already been covered. Inshallah, in today's session and in this very program, we shall discuss the story of Prophet Nuh, and let's say the personality of the Prophet Nuh from a Quranic perspective. Who was Prophet Nuh from teachings of Quran? Was he among the resolute or ulul azm prophets or not? And what are the characteristics of the ulul azm prophets? Hujjatul Islam Sheikh Hadi Walipur, Islamic scholar, will be helping us with his scholarly answers to the questions which are going to be asked in this very session. Before starting our discussion, I'd like to thank him for his presence in this show and say salam to him and welcome to the studio.
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Hadi. Brother Sheikh Hadi, we reached to the Prophet Nuh from Quranic perspective. Tell us concerning the story of what Quran says concerning the Prophet Nuh and whether he was among the ulul azm prophets or not, and the characteristics of ulul azm prophet. Though we have already discussed the characteristics of ulul azm prophet, but just to remind the respected viewers for this show.
Yes. About Prophet Nuh. As you know, Prophet Nuh, according to our Quranic teaching, was one of the greatest prophets among other prophets.
No doubt.
In chapter Ahzab, verse 7, we have a verse about the ulul azm prophet, the names of ulul azm prophet. We have two verses actually about these prophets. The first one is in chapter Ahzab, verse 7, and the other one is in the chapter Shura, verse 13. The first one, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ مِيثَاقَهُمْ. And when we made a covenant with the prophets, it's a special covenant. Allah made a covenant with all prophets, but with these 5 prophets, which we name them as ulul azm, Allah has made a special covenant, strongest one.
True.
When we made a covenant with the prophets and with you, it means our prophet, holy prophet, with Nuh and Abraham, Musa and Isa, peace be upon all of them. وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ مِيثَاقَهُمْ وَمِنْكَ إِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِنَ النَّبِيِّينَ مِيثَاقَهُمْ وَمِنْكَ وَمِنْ نُوحٍ وَإِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى وَعِيسَى بْنِ مَرْيَمَ. And at the end, وَأَخَذْنَا مِنْهُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. And we made with them a strong covenant. It is one of the characteristics of holy prophets, ulul azm prophets. A strong covenant, stronger than other prophets. For example, Prophet Adam was one of the greatest prophets, but he is not one of the ulul azm prophets. And you mean he had some lapse,
Exactly.
Adam. But Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and our prophet, they were only the 5 ulul azm prophets.
Exactly.
At the other verse about the ulul azm prophet, we have in chapter Shura, شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه.
So just before you go to the translation of the verse that you have just recited and interpretation of this verse, I'd like you tell us that where this, as you said, strong covenant was taken from the prophets. Was it in this world? Or was it in another world that we don't understand? Was this covenant just for these 5 people? And other people have been in those worlds that they have, in fact, have taken the covenant or not.
Yes. Actually, this strong covenant was in this world, because we have some narrations about prophets, especially about Prophet Nuh, that which want to discuss about him. We have some narrations about Nuh that Allah at the beginning, I mean Angel Gabriel, at the beginning of the prophethood of Nuh, peace be upon him, has introduced to him his duties.
It's true.
Yes, during his prophethood. And he accepted these duties. And then he became a prophet.
So how come that Allah, we are not going to, in fact, neglect Allah's complete knowledge and, let's say, total knowledge over everything. But how come that Allah chose those people, those 5 people, while they have not been tested already?
Because of their past. They had a good past. They showed their abilities and their truthfulness to Allah.
Where in the past? You mean what do you mean by the past?
I mean before their prophethood. For example, our prophet, our holy prophet Muhammad, he became a prophet of Allah at the 40.
At the age 40.
Yes. And Prophet Nuh at...
You mean all the good deeds and actions that they have did before the time they have been chosen as the prophet was a reason for Allah to choose them?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go to the verse that you recited.
And the other verse about these holy Allah as prophets in the chapter Shura, verse 13. شرع لكم من الدين ما وصى به نوحا والذي أوحينا إليك وما وصينا به إبراهيم وموسى وعيسى أن أقيموا الدين ولا تتفرقوا فيه. Allah has made plain to you of the religion. This is the first properties and characteristics of holy prophets, I mean ulul as prophets. They made a religion.
True.
It means that Musa, we have the religion of Musa right now, and Isa and holy prophet, but we don't have 2 religions of
From Nuh
and Abraham.
Ibrahim.
But at their times they made and they brought a religion.
But we have no traces of them at the moment.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you, Sheikh Hadi. Inshallah, we shall go to the rest of your explanations after a very short break. And you, respected viewers, please do stay tuned. We'll be back in a few seconds. Welcome back and to this show and our discussion concerning the Prophet Nuh from a Quranic perspective. We have been discussing the, in fact, characteristics of Ulul Azm or resolute prophets, those who brought to the human beings, or let's say to humanity, religions. One of the important and let's say outstanding characteristics of the Ulul Azm prophet was bringing a religion. As Sheikh Hadi told us, we have Islam, we have Judaism, we have Christianity, and 2 other religions which at the moment we have no traces of those religions of the Prophet Ibrahim and the Prophet Nuh. What are the other characteristics of, Ulul Azm prophets?
Yes. The first characteristic, according to this verse, was they all brought religion to the humanity. And then, an aqimuddin. This is a great point, because it relates to secularism in this modern philosophy.
Isn't it again on the continuation of setting up a religion?
Yes, yes. After you brought a religion, you must be executors of this religion in this society.
Okay.
It means that an aqimuddin, you must yourself as prophets, you must be executors of this
religion that you have brought
in this society. And aqimuddin wala tatafarraqu fi. All religions are the same, and all the prophets are the same. they have one duty, to bring a religion to the society, and this religion, the reality of these religions are not divided and something different. But in some laws, at some times, maybe they are different. But the reality of the religions are the same, because Allah has said, "La tatafarraqu fi."
You mean all these different religions have been saying one thing?
Yes, one thing.
With the same, let's say, deeds, instructions, and everything?
Yes.
Prayer?
Yes. No, in the laws.
Not in the laws?
Yes, in the laws, yes, we have some differences. But in the principles, they are the same. They all order us to believe in the unity of God. They all ordered us to believe in resurrection and to believe in prophethood.
So you mean if we have gathered all the prophets in one region, there would not be any discrepancies between them?
No.
Okay.
This is about the prophethood and being ulul as prophet.
Bringing a religion and establishing and, let's say, being executors of the laws of that religion.
Yes.
Are the characteristics of ulul as prophet.
Yes.
How is the personality of Prophet Nuh in Quran? Is it exactly the same as we see in the Old and New Testaments?
Yes. Unfortunately, in the Old and New Testament, the personality of some prophets, especially Prophet Nuh, is something different. Because
why do you say unfortunately is different? I mean, actually, it has been defamed, you mean?
Because they mentioned some negative characteristics for some prophets, especially Prophet Nuh, in Old Testament and New Testament, that we can confirm.
That we believe that they have been devoid from those characteristics.
Yes. For example, in the Genesis, in the Old Testament, we have some explanations and interpretations about Prophet Nuh, that he, for example, drank wine.
My gosh.
So we can confirm it. We can believe in something.
It cannot be gathered with his infallibility.
Yes. And some other that I'm ashamed to mention about these characteristics. But according to Quran, Allah has introduced his prophet, especially Prophet Nuh. Almighty Allah has introduced Prophet Nuh as إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَى آدَمَ وَنُوحًا وَآلَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَآلَ عِمْرَانَ عَلَى الْعَالَمِينَ. In the chapter Al Imran, verse 33, Allah has mentioned, surely Allah chose Adam and Nuh. Has chose. So when Allah has chose somebody, he's a great man. And in another verse, ذُرِّيَّةَ مَنْ حَمَلْنَا مَعَ نُوحٍ إِنَّهُ كَانَ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. Surely Nuh was a grateful servant. In the chapter Isra, verse 3, we have. So he was grateful. Another verse, إِذْ قَالَ لَهُمْ أَخُوهُمْ نُوحٌ أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. When their brother Nuh said to them, his tribe, will you not guard against evil?
So how come that we have the personality of Prophet Nuh in Quran that much admired, but we see it in the other divine books that much, let's say, in fact, defamed? Is it because of the distortion that we Muslims believe that had happened in the...
because of these verses, we believe in distortion.
Okay. So the Prophet Nuh was a sacred person.
Yes. This is about the personality of Nuh in Quran. He was a grateful servant. He was ordering others to be pious, so he was pious.
Sure.
And other characteristic that he was one of the ulul as prophet. He has brought a religion.
How about his nation? How did they like? It's famous that most of the prophets, all of the prophets, let's say, have tolerated lots of problems while, in fact, delivering the message. And it's famous that the nation of the Prophet Nuh had lots of insults to him and to his holy existence. Can you please portray for us let's say, the nation of that time and the kind of interaction that they had with the Prophet? Did they accept him very widely, or no, they rejected him? The numbers of the followers tell us anything which is needed in this regard and have been narrated, or let's say witnessed from Quran.
Yes, unfortunately, our Prophet Nuh had not a good nation.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we have in chapter Najm, verse 52, وَقَوْمَ نُوحٍ مِّن قَبْلُ إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا هُمْ أَظْلَمُ وَأَطْغَى.
أظلم وأطغى. What does it mean?
The people of Nuh before, surely they were most unjust, and inordinate.
With these two attributes that you have just named here, so I think it's better just to go to have a short break, and after that, inshallah, we shall continue the discussion. I invite you to stay with us. We'll be back in a few seconds. We're still discussing the Prophet Nuh from a Quranic perspective. Sheikh Hadi, the respected expert of the program, told us that the nation that the Prophet Nuh was in fact preaching the message towards them were so unjust and inordinate based on Quranic verses. We're still looking for some more information concerning the nation of the Prophet and how did they accept the Prophet and how did they react toward the Prophet's message.
Yes. About these properties of the nation, we have some verses. Before entering to this discussion, we have a verse in Quran about the numbers of prophets which related to the nation of Nuh. Because in the chapter Shu'ara, we have a verse that says, كَذَّبَتْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. It means that the people of Nuh rejected the messengers.
Not only Nuh, only the messengers who were the deputies of Nuh in some sort of way.
Yes. So we can interpret this verse that at the time of Nuh, there were other prophets
who were preaching the religion of Nuh.
Yes. We can interpret it.
Those prophets have been chosen by Allah Almighty.
Yes.
No doubt. Not by Nuh.
Yes. Or we can say these messengers were before Nuh. Before Nuh. We can interpret in this kind. But about the properties of the nation of Prophet Nuh, we have in the chapter Nuh, verse 9, كَذَّبَتْ قَبْلَهُمْ قَوْمُ نُوحٍ فَكَذَّبُوا عَبْدَنَا وَقَالُوا مَجْنُونٌ وَازْدُجِرٌ. And this nation called our servant Nuh as a mad person and called him as driven away. And other verses we have, قَالُوا يَا نُوحُ قَدْ جَادَلْتَنَا فَأَكْثَرْتَ جِدَالَنَا فَأْتِنَا بِمَا تَعِدُنَا إِن كُنْتَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ. They say, O Nuh, indeed you have disputed with us and lengthened dispute with us. Therefore bring to us what you threaten us with, if you are of the truthful ones. It means that they absolutely denied the preachings of Prophet Nuh.
Do you mean the majority of the people?
No. Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Because we have a verse about the quantity and the numbers of these believers.
Okay.
And other verses, قالوا لئن لم تنتهي يا نوح لتكونن من المرجومين. They said, if you desist not, O Nuh, you shall most certainly be of those stoned to death.
I mean, they wanted to kill the Prophet,
Yes.
not accepting his message, just to
And
kill.
yes. And we have another problem in Prophet Nuh. This related to his family, about his wife.
His wife and his son is famous, as Quran says.
Yes. His son is, inshallah, we discuss about his son. But about his wife, he and Prophet Lut had the same problem.
Yeah.
Had the same problem about their wives. In the Surah At-Tahrim, verse 10, we have ضرب الله مثلا للذين كفروا امرأة نوح وامرأة لوط. Allah sets for an example to those who disbelieve the wife of Nuh and the wife of Lut. كانتا تحت عبدين من عبادنا. They were both under two of our righteous servants. فخانتاهما. But they acted treacherously toward them, so they availed them not against Allah.
Very true.
وَقِيلَ ادْخُلَا النَّارَ مَعَ الدَّاخِلِينَ. And it was said, enter both the fire with those who enter.
So it means that even their family did not accept their word. So how come that we are going to expect the other people from the nation to accept it? What was the reason? I mean, I have lots of questions, but I think this program has not the capability of, in fact, paying attention to them. Since they were infallible, since they have a very good knowledge of all people, how come that they chose those, wives? Or it was Allah's wish to act, naturally, as other people are acting. I think you think it is a suitable question, you can answer it here.
Yeah.
And after that, concerning the other, let's say, people inside the nation, was it, if you, as you said, lots of people rejected him, so whom he was in fact preaching?
Yes. About the first question, we have some wives related to the prophets.
As you said, Nuh and Lut.
Yes, Nuh and Lut. And even our imams. We have in narrations something not good, at least, about some wives of our imams. Like Imam Hassan, as you know, Imam Hassan,
Yeah.
peace be upon him, his wife
Killed him.
Yes, he killed him. And Imam Sadiq, we have some narrations about the story of Imam Sadiq with his wives. And Imam Jawad, even his wife has killed him. So maybe this actions of prophets is an example for us to how treat with bad wives.
Very nice.
Because some people said me, for example, if Imam had my wife, for example, he didn't treat like me.
Exactly.
But we have lots of narrations and stories related to prophets and imams concerning to bad people, even bad wives.
Very true.
So they married bad people and bad wives. Even we can say they knew that they are bad, but in order to treat and teach us how to treat with these people, they have
That's a
married.
good sample. Thank you. And concerning the second question, please be very brief because we are at the last minutes of this show.
And concerning the second one, we have this problem among all prophets that their believers were few people, but they has to preach according to Allah's order. They has to preach even for this minority, because human being, if even at least be one person,
He must be guided
he
anyway.
must be guided. So they preach the minority of people. You can see even in these societies that we have already, in this time, we have lots of people, but the minority of these people are believing in spirituality or believing in God. but they must be guided and they must be an example for the other people.
Thank you very much. What a gracious and kind God do we have, and we should in fact be the best, let's say, servants for this God. Thank you very much, Sheikh Hadi, for participating in this show, and you, respected viewers, for following this series of programs concerning the prophets from a Quranic perspective. Inshallah, we shall continue a discussion concerning the Prophet Nuh, his nation, and the story of the Noah's Ark and what happened after, inshallah, in our next sessions. I invite you to join us then. Till then, have a very good time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.